People who have worked directly for rich people. What were they like? And have your experiences influenced your opinion of the rich? I've worked for billionaires. They were very nice and definitely didn't give the feeling of looking down on other people. However, the one thing I've noticed is that they are so tired of getting fucked by everyone that if there is any hint that you've taken advantage of them, you are gone. A lot people think that they won't notice if you've overbilled them or somehow thought they wouldn't notice because the money means nothing to them. Simply not true. My mum works for some rich people as a cleaner, and when I was younger she would take me to their house. They would always be nice to me and give me sweets and chocolates, so I thought they were pretty kind. Also they would let me go to their house to use their swimming pools in the summer, and they have been giving me presents for Christmas and my birthday for the past 5-10 years. So I guess it has changed my opinion of rich people to some extent. Yeah, when we talk about the 1% we easily think of Scrooge MC Duck swimming in money in the same thought as the original Scrooge counting pennies and thinking on how to not pay for heating. Most of them are human. The people my mom worked for. The dad was the millionaire stockbroker. The mom and kid were just a stay-at-home wife and an elementary kid. Yet somehow the three are evil overlords. Yep. One of my best friends from high school was the daughter of two really successful stockbrokers, and they were genuinely two of the nicest people I've ever met. Unfortunately she kind of grew up to be pretty shitty person, so I don't see much of that family anymore. I nannied for a very wealthy family. The mom was a CEO of a financial company. The dad was a successful lawyer with his own firm. I met them while I was a pre-K teacher and they hired me when they had a new baby. They were absolutely the kindest people I have ever been around. They constantly took care of everyone around them, and I've never seen so much charity work. Every Christmas they bought half a dozen kids whatever they wanted for Christmas via Angletree. In addition to what their kids wanted, they worked in homeless shelters. In shelters where women were trying to get back on the right path after a crime or abusive relationship. They took care of me and my husband as if we were also family. I got paid extremely well. They got us a membership to their country club every year and gave me 6 weeks paid vacation each year. It's really easy to be cynical about the rich, but it really gave me a fantastic perspective of people who are in a good place financially and also incredibly charitable. I've always strived to help others around me, even if it's small, because of how generous they always were. How did you find the family? A nanny for an upper middle class family that found me on Care.com a few years ago. I had their oldest in my pre-K class, and they offered me the job when they were expecting their second baby. Did you go back to your original job? I didn't. I started working at a children's theater as a set designer. My degree is in visual arts. I love working with kids, so it was a much better fit for me than being in a classroom. I've worked for several wealthy people and still work for two whenever they need me. Basically you have couples that are different like everyone else. Some are messy and don't care because they are paying you to clean up after them. Some are very clean and need help with other things. Some hoard. Some give you stuff all the time. Some are real penny pinchers. Others spend like crazy. The people I've worked for have worked hard their whole lives to get rich. They are very nice, interesting individuals that pay well for a job well done. Sadly it's their kids and grandkids I see that are not so great a lot of the time. My ex built pipe organs for a living. These are huge, highly specialized objects that are expected to last 4 decades at a minimum and carry a price tag in the high 6 or 7 digit range. These projects could be paid for with a massive fundraising campaign, but it was just as likely that the entire venture would be underwritten by a single donor. These are the kind of people who have buildings and charities and foundations named after them. He'll tell you that every single donor he ever met was incredibly friendly and supportive. They were often very involved in the project, and he got to know them well. But he didn't realize that they were that rich until the project was nearly done. He never encountered the stereotype of the nasty, greedy rich man. Of course, in his line of work, he only tended to encounter very charitable people. But that was his experience. That sounds like an awesome job. I've worked / still do for many rich people and rich establishments over the years as a gardener. Most of them are absolute nuts and I have tons of stories about various ones. I used to work at the Dorchester and Marriott hotels in London. A very famous singer / actress used to demand a fresh roll of turf to be delivered to her room every day so her dog could pee on it. The craziest rich person I've ever worked for though is a billionairess. She is absolutely insane. She bullies her staff like she suddenly demanded that they call her madam, for example. She had her maid spend 3 days hoovering hedges outside in the sweltering heat because she thought the hedges looked dusty. A few years ago she had a young enthusiastic new assistant, but within a year her assistant had lost a considerable amount of weight and hair due to the stresses and constant bullying from her boss. She expects everything to be done for her yesterday and will never ever thank or acknowledge anyone. Luckily I only have to deal with her once a week for an hour and rarely see her. We have an understanding that she needs us more than we need her. Her garden is very difficult and tricky to look after. It's not a normal garden, so she leaves us alone, but I still have no idea how her permanent staff deal with her. On the other hand, I used to work for a major British movie producer. He was a lovely guy who was very proud of his most notable films and had many secret rooms within his house modeled after his movies. His wife on the other hand was an awful bitch of a woman. My favorite rich people though are two self-made multimillionaires. The husband came from nothing but made a fortune from hard work and retired at 50. He and his wife regularly do whatever they want. They randomly go on holiday and are literally what every normal person dreams of being if they won the lottery. They'll never run out of money, even though they live a lavish lifestyle at times. They just thoroughly enjoy their life and money and are both lovely people too. Most rich people I've encountered tend to be very tight with money and also a little bit nuts and paranoid. Anyone who's worked with rich people knows that there's a certain way of dealing with them. I have so many stories about the rich and famous as I've been around them for the past 8 years or so. Some are funny, whereas others just make me angry. I became a nanny for 8 years in a very affluent neighborhood and I learned that there are different types of rich. The main two being new money vs old money. New money is the absolute worst. Old money, the wealthiest family I worked for. They rarely talked about money, looked like average Joes, drove decent but not crazy expensive cars, and treated everyone equally. There was subtle snobbery, but it was never in your face. They did not like to be around the real housewife crowd. They taught me not to get attached to material possessions and to never live beyond your means. One thing that really stuck out to me was how much they respected me and supported my decision to pursue a law degree. New money, no doubt they were wealthy as well. However, they always talked about money, always judged others based off cars, houses, and where their kids went to private school. They never introduced me by my name. I was always just the nanny, lol. They would brush off my law school plans as a pipe dream. I could go on, but I'm sure you get the idea. They taught me how tacky it looks to talk about money and be obsessed with an image and material things. The funny thing about the new money crowd is they are never really that rich in the first place. I agree. Most new money people end up going into insane debt. They fail to realize that just because you have the money for it doesn't automatically mean you can afford it. I think that's why a lot of celebrities go broke or their estate is depleted. I wonder if part of it where the wealth actually is. In old money, I would expect a lot of property, business, interesting investments, generally things that aren't liquid, so you can't just spend the money. New money probably has a lot of liquid cash. Was dating a girl whose mom was dating a very wealthy man. She invites me to his cottage for a weekend. He takes everybody out for dinner, 20 plus wealthy people, drinks a peas and mains, and when the bill comes I walk up to him and offer to pay for him. Myself and my date as I'm staying at his place and feel I should contribute. He looks at me funny, then takes me aside and says, "You are the only person here that's willing to pay his own way and buy me dinner. You will go very far in this life." And he accepted only after I insisted. TL. Doctor, most rich people are cheap lazy slobs. Well, have you gone far in life? Have worked for several as I caddy over the summer at a country club. Before I started I didn't really know how to professionally talk to adults. My time there working for rich people has taught me great social skills and has given me ambition to be successful in life. Most of them are great guys and give excellent advice to. Is your name Bobby Axelrod? Sadly no. That's a great name. The ones I have worked for have been in an office environment for the most part, where they were the owners of the business. They typically worked very hard to become rich. They were very driven, but also very gregarious people. They treated me well and appreciated hard work and initiative. They rewarded hard work and results with bonuses, tickets to ball games, in their suite, etc. I've also met a few through helping my wife babysit when we were first dating. Again, very nice people. They never seemed to look down on us, and again, seemed to appreciate where we were in life, working hard toward our goals. Engineering school in my case. I never knew any rich people growing up. My family was solid middle class, so my opinion of the rich is pretty positive. I currently work for rich people. New Yorkers who have money are terrible, loud, obnoxious. They don't let you get a word in. They are not bad people, they are just very hard to deal with and communicate with. When it comes to wealthy people in general, the one who brings all the money in, they are not the ones who annoy me. You know who annoys me? Their wives. You show me the wife of a multimillionaire, and I will show you an entitled, conniving cunt. The husband will be the most polite, endearing person you have ever met, but his wife, who didn't earn a cent, is a cunt. You know how they talk about army wives, dependents if you will, who have the stereotype of being entitled because their husband is in the military. A similar concept applies here, and these women aren't as bad to other men, they are like this to women. I have to be very stern with these women, because they walk around with an attitude. They have this perpetual belief that they have been disrespected or wronged in some way. Everything could be perfectly fine, but they'll find a reason for everything to be a problem. They are some of the nicest people I've ever met. Some can be very demanding, especially ladies who are on a crusade to make their dream house / kitchen / garden / whatever. Sometimes it can get real ugly, real fast, especially when you're working with natural materials which aren't always perfect. All in all, you get a different kind of a chill when money's not a problem in life. My mom was a housekeeper for a multimillionaire couple, and she would always tell me the crazy things they would have her do, and they would occasionally butt heads. She eventually quit the job, and the straw that broke her back was that her boss wrote her a nasty letter about how she is mating his socks incorrectly. And it was a nasty letter.